Number 9 of the Hursley Park videos follows the major announcement of the IBM Personal System 2. Hursley's contributions were significant and continue even after the announcement. In 1968, C Block Machine Room housed System 360 machines upon which Hursley relied. Today, that same area is the new Hursley Demonstration Center, and in it are new machines of greater power with color, graphics, text, and image, all on the desktop at the fingertips. Promoting Hursley's new products, the demonstration center resulted from a magnificent effort by all involved, designed to completion in only 8 weeks. This was recognized when Dave Biddlecombe, Laboratory Administration Manager, was introduced to ESD President Bill Lowe. Bill toured the new facility with Demonstration Center Manager Colin Christmas and saw demonstrations of desktop publishing by Publishing Systems Manager Chris Johnson and the new software product, Presentation Manager. This first demonstration to a senior executive was hosted by Bob Hatchard. During his visit, Bill Lowe had a secret to keep. All was revealed a few days later in Southampton at the All Managers meeting. John Bates maintained the suspense.
Throughout this past year, this person has maintained a remarkable balance between personnel and technical management at all times. His leadership of his team has been excellent. He has accomplished high morale during a period of exceptional workload. And not only the Hursley Laboratory, but also Bill Lowe, ESD President, believes that this deserves the highest recognition.
IBM UK's chief executive, Tony Cleaver, was there to add his own congratulations as John named the name.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me the greatest pleasure on behalf of Bill Lowe to ask Tony to present the ESD President's Award to Bob Hatchard.
A few days later, back at Hursley, Peter McManus asked Bob about the award.
How did you feel about that award?
Well, I was very, very pleased, obviously, and extremely surprised. Makes a change for us to be able to, for people to be able to keep something so secret. It was nice, but I really took it not just as a recognition of what I'd done, but a recognition of what workstation programming had done. It's a good department. We've worked hard to get to where we are, and an awful lot of work has gone in from an awful lot of people over the last year or so.
They were talking together with Harry Tuffle about the announcement of the IBM Personal System 2.
As I saw the announcement, we spend so much of our time just looking at our own piece, and it was just so impressive to see all the new models that we're announcing, just the sheer scope of it, and it really was a proud moment to see the displays featured so well, which we've been involved in, all the color displays that showed up really as the feature of what was seen by the salesmen of their first view and impact of the whole new range of products.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. The displays made a tremendous impact in Greenock with the press, and also, of course, we had the top 50 dealers in the UK in the morning of April the 2nd up in Greenock. They were absolutely bowled over by the quality of the displays, and of course the particular one that we had the greatest part in here in Hursley, which was the 8514, had such sensational graphics on it, the content of the screen, the ability to produce animation through various clever tricks that our programmers have come up with. It really was the knockout of the show, and it was very noticeable how, while people were impressed by everything that they saw and were able to move around the whole demonstration area, they very quickly gravitated to look at this large screen, and it really became the center stage. You were also saying, I think, Harry, that you got some comment from the people, the salespeople in London, that this was almost like the old days in the sense of a really big announcement with a lot of razzmatazz.
Well, that's right, and it was put out to an advertising agency. They did an excellent job.
Today is the day we are introducing Personal System 2, IBM's new family of computers. The Model 30, the Model 50, the Model 60, and the Model 80. And 4 new displays with higher resolution and many more colors. IBM, with a brand new line, a new system, a new design. With completely new architecture, Personal System 2 sets new standards in personal computing.
And on each occasion I was there, the salesman stood up as soon as they'd seen all the devices come round, and the dealers as well, and there was a spontaneous burst of applause.
That happened in Miami as well. You mentioned Razzmatazz just now. It was interesting because a couple of the software vendors, when talking to them, had said that this is not like IBM. IBM doesn't announce products this way. And there's a tremendous amount of gear laid out all over the place. And they had 28, the top 28 software vendors were there, demonstrating some of the programs they'd written and some of the stuff they were doing, and they were using our displays.
Being in Miami, you were also able to see the desktop publishing demonstrated.
It had enough room for a lot of people to get round it, and it came across extremely well.
I wonder whether some of the people seeing it, particularly the salesmen, realized that some of the products like desktop pubs wasn't even in our plan 12, 14 months ago, and that we really have learned how to get products like a vertical solution out like that. Most complex product involving working with at least 3 different software vendors to pull the whole system together, and what an incredible job that has been done there in bringing that to an announcement in the States in that short space of time.
It's interesting, actually, the way, over the last 2 or 3 years, the way particularly software development has evolved, because instead of doing everything in-house as we did before, we're now doing a lot more, as you mentioned just now, with desktop pubs using outside vendors. I mean, the presentation manager we're doing in conjunction with the Microsoft Corporation, and that's a major joint development agreement, and it's a totally new way of doing business, and it's extremely challenging, extremely taxing.
We're also having to meet with all these ISVs, the new adapter. We've
The
had
ISVs, Harry, that's the...
independent software vendors. We've had to meet with the top names in the industry so that we can show them how to really exploit the new hardware that we've come out with, and we're very rapidly getting many of the household names to really exploit all the new function that we've put out with the new announcement.
That was particularly noticeable up in Greenock. They only had a small area for the independent software vendors, but Lotus and Ashton Tate were up there, and it was very pleasing to see Lotus putting out a press release specifically highlighting the fact that in their next wave of products they'd be supporting Bob's product, which is a presentation manager in the new operating system. And I think we've come to realize in Hursley how important it is to invest a lot of effort in working with those people, because they are the shop window as far as the dealers are concerned.
The UK really did invest a lot of money into this announcement. I think the salesmen themselves were pleased at last that this was such an important announcement and was so much behind the announcement. And of course there was an important message in the UK which they were able to make a great deal of, which was a major part of this development, both the software and the hardware, was coming from Hursley in the UK. And of course the manufacture of all of these new system units has been won by Greenock.
Plus, equally, having the disc files manufactured in Havant came across very well, and it was nice to see the way that the press covered all that the following day on April the 3rd, that front page of the Financial Times highlighted both Greenock and Havant and Hursley as having key roles in what had been announced. These very fast announcement cycles now are obviously putting a lot of pressure on people in terms of the pace at which we have to define what we're doing. And yet at the same time, I think people appreciate seeing the results of their work very, very quickly. They're not working for 3 or 4 years before they can suddenly get something out into the public domain and start to get a feel for the market reception of what we're doing.
This closer contact with the marketplace was the subject of John Bates' closing remarks at the all-managers meeting.
New perceptions are also at work in the corporation, and goals for the 80s have been updated to the new goals for IBM. The most obvious update, and one that Tony alluded to earlier, is the new number 1 goal, to enhance our customer partnership. And some of you will remember that when Frank Metz addressed the senior managers a few months ago and talked of a feeling in Armonk that IBM has neglected some of its close touch with customers.
Hursley, like many laboratories, is involved in reversing that trend. John Holmes, Director of Manufacturing and Development, recently visited the new demonstration centre, which will help marketing to promote their customers' understanding of Hursley products. John Bates had referred to this closer involvement with our partners in marketing when he proudly announced at the AMM one of Hursley's investments in the future, the new demonstration centre. Many customers have already visited the laboratory, and we have a backlog of requests for further visits, proving this to be a most successful venture. Meanwhile, our products continue to be marketed worldwide. Over to the team from MASH.
Personally, I've always admired his use of yellow.
His merging of abstract shapes and a multi-hued palette is one of the joys of our time.
Yes, his subtle shading, his sensitivity to the gray spectrum.
A stroke work of a Rembrandt.
It's so thrilling to see the new IBM Personal System 2 in the hands of an old master.
Balderdash. The new IBM Personal System 2, advancing the art of business.